Ladies and gentlemen, something amazing just took place. Democrats just prevented the release of emails between John Brennan and James Comey with President Obama. Now, you're not going to hear this. You're not going to hear that Democrats just prevented these emails from being released. But here, Rand Paul blocks resolution calling for release of Mueller report. Well, all you hear from Democrats is transparency. We have to see everything. We need everything in the light of day. Why did Rand Paul block the resolution calling for the release of the Mueller report? He was okay with it, but Rand Paul objected because Warner wouldn't agree to amend the non-binding House-passed resolution to include provisions calling for the public release of communications between several Obama-era officials, including former President Obama, former FBI Director James Comey, and former CIA Director John Brennan. What are they hiding? What are they hiding? Oh my God. I thought they want transparency. They only want what is beneficial for them to be released. That's why when Devin Nunes found out that judges were lied to, were not told about the Steele Dossier being purchased by Hillary Clinton to get a spy warrant on Carter Page, they were up in arms. Oh my God, oh, sources and methods. How could Congressman Nunes do this? How could this Republican congressman do this? Oh my God. And all the publications went after him because it's a little tiny groupthink mindset in Washington. Oh, you have to be the kind of New York Times, Washington Post, and then subsidiary publication mentalities. You have to be an extension of the Democratic Party. That's journalism today. So they went after Congressman Devin Nunes. They said, oh my God, who, by the way, has vowed over 24 criminal referrals. But this is right here. Paul argued that Congress still needs to figure out the entire story, including the origins of the investigation into President Trump's campaign in a controversial research dossier compiled against then-candidate Trump. They want to know what President Obama and James Comey, FBI Director under Obama James Comey, and CIA Director John O'Brennan, it was told to me by so many reputable sources, even my girl, Sally Yates, that Trumpy likes fluids raining down upon him. Bodily fluids. Yes, it's true. It's true. I was told of this by a dossier compiled by none other than an MI6 agent. This dossier has been verified by the Tooth Fairy and the Loch Ness Monster, and I can tell you that its contents are more pristine than the good Bible. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, Paul argued that Congress still needs to figure out the entire story, including the origins of the investigation into President Trump's campaign and controversial research dossier compiled against then-candidate Trump. I think it's very important that we not turn our country into this back and forth where each successive party tries to use the apparatus of government to investigate the previous president. President Obama is 100% safe. He will never, ever, 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 ever get indicted for anything, even though he very likely helped facilitate all these criminal acts. And what I mean by that is simply just turn the other cheek and say, well, you know what? Do what you got to do. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Why do you think that President Obama didn't veto the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity, if processed differently, could become yellow cake and then into the most dangerous weapon known to mankind? Why do you think he didn't? Vladimir Putin, a hostile foreign nation. Hostile foreign power. President Obama came in with a Russian reset. Did the Bush administration, the worst administration of all time, if you were bragging about working in the Bush administration, you have major problems in your life. But this is... So, what if the Bush administration initiated an investigation of Obama in early 2007, saying, my God, he wants a Russian reset, but they invaded Georgia. No. We need to find out what's motivating this man. MySpace? MySpace ads. Yep, that's it. That wouldn't fly. Well, we have a dossier that says Obama likes to do, or Clinton likes to do this. No, that wouldn't fly. That would never happen. They would never allow that. With Trump, anything, it was all good with Trump. Anything was possible with Trump because they didn't like him. And now, Republicans, especially Rand Paul, who's awesome, Republicans are saying, well, look, you know what? We don't mind seeing the entirety of the Mueller dossier, or the Mueller probe, or Mueller report, but let's see the communication that we want. How did this thing start to begin with? What role did the previous president have? What role did James Comey have in initiating an investigation without evidence of a specific crime and without evidence at all, and with evidence purchased by Hillary Clinton? What role did these people have? We already know. Trump was set up. It is so obvious. The Twitter cult of Democrats, liberal Democrats, it's kind of hilarious too, because I type in my name and I see what people say about me, which is funny. And the people on the left, a lot of them just can't stand that I'm published in wonderful publications. By the way, I was just published in the Federalist. President Trump should pardon Michael Flynn. Oh, they didn't like that. Oh my God, they didn't like that at all. They really didn't like that. Why didn't they like that? Oh, my goodness. My goodness. He lied to the FBI. He didn't lie to the FBI. He lied to Peter Strzok. Peter Strzok ceased. Ended. It was never... He wasn't an FBI agent when he became an operative of the Clinton campaign. When he said, we'll stop Trump. When he deleted 5 references to gross negligence. When he wrote that there's an insurance policy called Trump Russia, when he even admitted there's nothing to Trump Russia, when he utilized his post because of his animus against Trump, because of his not only bias, his white-hot hatred of Trump. When he did that, he ceased he was no longer an FBI agent. Notice how Peter Strzok was the same person who interviewed Hillary Clinton. Gee, what a different outcome. Clinton actually committed crimes. Michael Flynn allegedly lied about something that wasn't a crime. Okay, speaking to Sergei Kislyak about sanctions being pulled, that was not a crime. Like I said, Obama came in with a Russian reset. Democrats had no problem. President, he presided over the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity. No problem. Cash flowed to the Clinton Foundation amid Russian uranium deal. No problem. Bill Clinton met with Vladimir Putin. No problem. Hillary Clinton purchased the Steele Dossier and outsourced CrowdStrike, the only entity known to have touched DNC servers. We have no idea if they even did. We have no clue if they even looked at DNC servers. That's something that I should kind of harp on. We have no clue. We were trusting a tech firm that was paid by Clinton and the Democratic Party. The United States government has never confirmed anything. Oh, but everybody agrees. So what? Trump's administration agrees. Yeah, you think that he lies all the time. You think? I love when the left says Trump was on a hot mic and he admitted, but then he's telling the truth. Everything else, he's just a liar. Oh my God. But I'll read this again, then they'll get to Comey's. You'll get to Comey's testimony, which is hilarious. So they want full discovery, full transparency. Paul objected because Senator Mark Warner wouldn't agree to amend the non-binding House resolution to include provisions calling for the public release of communication between several Obama-era officials, including former President Obama, former FBI Director James Comey, and former CIA Director John Brennan. Can you believe this? Can you believe that they're afraid? And they know they already failed. They lost the election. They lost Trump-Russia. I mean, let's put it this way. To rational human beings, they look stupid. To rational human beings, they've lost all credibility, any credit. The media, I mean, the MSNBC and CNN ratings are in the tank now. Now people want to see the other side of the story. Like, wait, how did this happen? We heard 2 years. This is going to happen. Oh, my God. They're going to flip and sing. Oh, my God. Nothing. And the American people want to know what the previous administration did to allow all of this to take place. We had a peaceful transition of power, ladies and gentlemen, a peaceful transition of power from Washington to Obama. And now that ended because you don't investigate the incoming the president-elect. You just don't do that. And no, they didn't have any Facebook ads. Look, the worst case scenario, it still would have. First of all, even the worst case scenario, it's not a threat to national security, because then you have to prove that all these Facebook ads actually influenced people, which they haven't. You have to prove which Facebook ads were most effective, which they haven't. You have to prove which states swung because of the Facebook or the Twitter bots, or because of knowledge that Bernie Sanders was cheated by Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Clinton, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz eventually resigned in disgrace. Why is that? But there was never any evidence at all. What they simply said, well, we're going to use the United States government against Trump because we feel something, we suspect something, and we have a dossier that tells us something. Well, what about Clinton? She actually has a money flow from the Russian government, and she purchased a dossier compiled with Russian sources. They don't care. Look, President Trump has to, from here on out, and I believe he's going to, not care what the media and the Democratic Party says. They're going to call him a tyrant. They're going to say, after they acted like tyrants, they're going to then say he's a tyrant. Oh my God, the sky is falling, like they do about everything. But this is Comey. Check this out. This is hilarious. This is what we're dealing with in terms of, look, the guy is not slick. He's a criminal, along with Andrew McCabe, who's under criminal investigation. James Baker was under criminal investigation. And Peter Strzok, who will soon be under criminal investigation, if he's not already. And he'll eventually get indicted as well. The criminal referral will be out, no doubt will have Strzok on there. And William Barr will actually act, unlike Sessions. But let's listen to this.
Senator Cruz.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Comey, welcome. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your testimony. I have to say I found your answer to Senator Kennedy a few minutes ago puzzling, in that you described the reason why the case was closed against Miss Abedin as that you could not determine she was aware her conduct was unlawful. And
U.S. Code 793F. First of all, Comey pretends to become a legal scholar. He's like, well, in every DOJ case, like, well, you're the FBI. You're not the DOJ. You don't work at the FBI. You're the DOJ. You're the FBI director. So stop pretending that you're like this, case law, like, Ivy League law professor. You're the FBI director. We all know you covered Clinton's crimes up. Simply say that we didn't want to charge her with crimes because of the election, and we were covering for her, and we were covering up her crimes. But James Comey's like, well, he told Senator Kennedy, this is hilarious, or Congressman Kennedy, he said, we didn't have the understanding that she intentionally transferred the data. Listen to this.
the reason that answer is puzzling is you're a very accomplished lawyer, and as you're well aware, every first-year law student learns in criminal law that ignorance of the law is no excuse, and that mens rea does not require knowledge that conduct is unlawful. And in fact, the governing statutes, 18 U.S.C. 793F and 18 U.S.C. 798A, have no requirement of a knowledge of unlawful. 798A provides whoever knowingly and willfully communicates, furnishes, transmits, or otherwise makes available to an unauthorized person classified information shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. Under the terms of that statute, the fact pattern you described in this hearing seems to fit that statute directly, in that, if I understand you correctly, you said Ms. Abedin forwarded hundreds or thousands of classified emails to her husband on a non-government, non-classified computer. How does that conduct not directly violate that statute?
First, Senator, if I said...
Look, of course it violates the statute. Of course it violates U.S. Code 793 F and the other statute he mentioned that I should probably mention more. But listen to what Comey says now. He's trying to justify his cover-up of Clinton's crimes by citing precedent, but there's no precedent. If let's say you had a bear wrestling league. There's no precedent for a bear wrestling league. If 5 people lose their lives wrestling wolverines or grizzly bears, or like grizzly bears, there's no precedent for it. So you can't look at precedents and say, gosh, in prior wrestling leagues, no, nobody has ever done what Clinton did ever, and they're basically what's taking place is the weight of their own corruption is crushing the Democratic Party. They don't see it. She's running again, ladies and gentlemen. She's running again. You saw what Trump did to Biden today, which was hilarious. But let's listen to this. You got to listen to this answer.
Said that I misspoke. She forwarded hundreds and thousands of emails, some of which contain classified information.
That's enough. Forget about the 22 top secret emails and special access program intelligence. I mean, she got away with everything. Then there was classified information outside the U.S. government on Uma Abedin's laptop.
For generations, I think is a fair way to say it.
Nobody asked your opinion on the legal history of the DOJ. Nobody asked your opinion, Comey. Nobody cares. Nobody asked your opinion. Nobody. This is going to work for the media. It won't work hopefully it won't work for William Barr. It certainly doesn't work for Trump or anyone else with sanity who's looking at this and saying, we know exactly what took place. This is the FBI. They went out of their way to destroy the lives of anyone associated with Trump. And they went out of their way to cover for Clinton. Now the pendulum has swung. The table is turned. They put all their eggs into Clinton and then into Trump Russia, and now there's payback, like James Brown said, the big payback.
The Department of Justice has understood that statute to require, in practice, and I believe they think in law, to require a general sense of criminal intent. That is, not a specific intent, but a general criminal intent.
She used a server outside of the United States government. Servers. She managed to transfer top secret data outside of the United States government on servers that Comey admitted were not run by government employees, did not have the protection of the United States government. We have no clue what kind of antivirus software she had or anything else. We had no clue how she protected her servers from the intrusion of foreign nations. We know that China China hacked her server because Inspector General Charles McCullough stated that China hacked her server. But the whole planet hacked her server. It was outside the United States government, and it was unencrypted for 5.5 months. Let's continue.
Sense and knowledge that what you're doing is unlawful, not violating a particular statute, but some general criminal mens rea. I can't find a case that's been brought in the last 50 years.
Nobody asked you to find a case. You're not the DOJ. You're the FBI. Big difference. That's why you were fired. That's why there's no obstruction charges. So if you've lasted this long, that's why they can't get Trump on obstruction, because you can't say he obstructed justice by firing a guy who should have been fired, who was not the DOJ, he was the FBI. The FBI recommends either the FBI can recommend indictments, but the FBI has to give the evidence to the DOJ, who then decides to indict. And the FBI salivates. Oh my God, they sink their teeth into anyone they want. And this guy, this clown is like, oh, well, generations of, let me give you this history. It's like everybody knows what you're doing. There's not one person. You look at this, like, if you see this, there's not one person in that whole chamber of Congress that believes this guy.
Based on negligence, without some showing or indicia of intent.
You and I have both worked in
So we can go on forever. The intent is inherent in the ownership of servers, private servers outside the United States government. It's kind of like, like a drug addict with a whole bunch of meth. And the cops catch this guy, tons of meth in his attic. And oh, well, why did you have this? Gosh, no reason at all. Or a drug, let's just say a dealer. No reason at all, just because it looks nice. Wait a second. I'm going to put two and two together. If you have tons and tons and tons of illegal narcotics, you might be wanting to sell those narcotics. I think I'm on to you now. This is like the Keystone Cops. This is hilarious. So, this is 18 U.S. Code 371. Comey conspired with people. You don't need a handwritten. You can just look at what he did. He needed the help of Andrew McCabe and Peter Strzok to do everything they did, and the help of other people. He needed Brennan's help. We haven't even gotten into John O'Brien. The people who are at greatest risk now are Comey, Andrew McCabe, Strzok. They will get indicted eventually. And today was hilarious. You're not going to hear that Democrats blocked the release of emails between Comey and Brennan and Obama, but here it is, and I'll put the link below. Share this segment everywhere. It's very important. Share my Federalist article, President Trump should pardon Michael Flynn. Subscribe to HA2A. I will later on today be uploading a great segment. Thank you.